Hey everyone. The reason why I'm doing this video is to talk about a lot of times we get advice from people, and people are constantly giving advice. That's one thing people really do well, give advice. But at the same time, when people are giving you advice, the first question you have to ask, do it lines up? Is it in accordance with the word of God? That's the first question I want you guys to start asking. Do it line up with the word of God, or is it tainted? Because a lot of people, as you begin to progress up the ladder, you have to still go back to the basic foundation, like the word of God, the Holy Bible. As you're progressing, they're going to start telling you different things, and that's part of the issue right now with the church. They're going to say, okay, well, you're from the seed of Jesus Christ and all of this different stuff. But and you may very well be, it may very well be that you can trace that back, or whatever the case may be. But now we have to start acting in accordance with the word of God. And certain things we do sometimes is outside of that. So we have to be careful, because our enemy is constantly playing on us, with our family, with people that we love, and everything. They will want you to mate with each other, all kinds of different things. So you have to start asking questions about this thing, because the United States have been under attack, citizens have been under attack, we've been under attack. Every country in this world right now is seriously under a major attack. And the attack was to derive them and make them ignorant of their foundation, ignorant of their culture, ignorant of their people. And some of this is taking place through the advice that is given. So as you progress with God, be careful, because remind you, you're still in warfare. The devil's still playing. He doesn't care how he plays. He doesn't care what he do. He don't care how he takes advantage of you. What he's going to do, he's going to continue to play no matter what. So you have to kind of safeguard yourself as you're moving up the ladder, because this is your destiny. Men and women of God, this is your destiny. Male, and when God says man, he means both male and female. So male and female, you have to realize, being men of God, you have to walk in your order and your calling. And that's going to be a hard thing for you to do, because the devil is constantly playing on you guys, constantly playing on women, constantly playing on men, constantly playing on the fact that these things are going on, and stuff like that. And God created you to be great. He created a great thing. He also let man name you woman, because you are female instead of a male, but you are a man because you were made in God's image as it was presented in the Bible. But be careful of the advice, because the first thing, you're under attack. A lot of these attacks are written out in the book of Revelation, but it's kind of hard to interpret. It's kind of hard, especially when you're going through that stage where you're not really with God. You really need revelation on it. It takes God's interpretation to really gift you with the truth of the Bible sometimes, or a minister to really give you with the truth of that Bible, because it's kind of hard to interpretate. You can sit up there and you can walk up to it and say, hey, it means this, and it's in its lamest terms. But at the same time, until you actually go through the struggles of that biblical Bible, it's kind of hard to interpret to other people and try to get them to understand what it really means and what's really going on. So remember, when you're receiving advice from people, remember, these same people tried to advise the prophets, advise the elects, and advise several other people before. And some of them are your enemy. Not all, but some of them are your enemy. And how you'll be able to determine your enemy from those that are for you when they're giving advice to you, how you will be able to determine, do it lines up with the word of God. God say, I'm not the author of confusion. So when someone start talking to me and it starts seeming confusing to me, you know, or I might have to ask them, look, slow it down a little bit. Let me hear what you're saying, because the devil used that as well. A person will be talking to you and he'll try to use confusion to throw you off so that you really can't understand what they're saying, and they mean you well. So that confusion could be the devil trying to throw you off. The confusion could be what the person is saying. It could mean a multitude of things, because remind you, the devil's using several devices and several layers to attack you. So be careful. Do not be the type that's defensive every time a person has advice for you. And sometimes you'll find yourself like that because you're just sick and tired of the madness and the crazy. So you somewhat find yourself like, look, man, I really don't have time to be listening to all of that. You know, I'm just trying to focus, concentrate on God, whatever the case may be. So be careful, you guys. Be careful who you're getting advice from. Be careful what type of advice is given. Be careful about the confusion of that advice, you know, because it may sound good. That's that brainwashing. They have hypnosed you ahead of time, you know, and everything, and you just fall victim to it and just go with the program, you know, because you have already been brainwashed. That mess has already been programmed in while you sleep at night. He trying to sow tears into your minds, tears into your mindset. So you have to constantly stay in the Word of God. Constantly remember, if you cannot get to a church, don't worry about it. Word Network, TBN, they have all these different gospel network, preaching networks. They have different preachers. If you got one that you're fond of and you particularly like, or whatever, Joyce Myers, whoever you choose, then the best thing for you to do is just continue on with that. But at the same time, try to focus on who's giving you advice and what type of advice they're giving you, and whether the advice that they're giving you is really good. Hopefully these words encourage you. Hopefully they help you through. Hopefully they guide you through what you need to be guided through, and you guys prosper, because that's my ultimate hope for everyone, that they prosper the same as God. You guys have a good one.